In this next mini-lecture on triads, we'll begin looking at how triads act within a key. We start with the simple notion of a major key, so we have C major here, and a simple scale. Triads work within the key to help confirm and direct the music towards the tonic in that key. And the way that they work, the way that the triads sound and the way they function has a lot to do with how they appear within that key. So what we're going to do here is actually assemble triads on every single scale degree. That just simply means making a chord stack using only the notes of the governing key, in this case C major. So there are no sharps and no flats, and all we'll do is simply, starting with a root note of C, we'll just add the third and fifth to create a chord on scale degree 1. Right? Then we'll move on to the second scale degree, D, and we'll similarly add the three notes of the D chord as they appear in C major. Here's the E chord, the F chord, whoops, F, A, C, G chord, A, B, and we'll return back to the first C chord. And since we've not used any sharps and flats, everything fits nicely within C major. Now, to talk about quality, this is sort of a complicated issue. The first thing you may have noticed about the 7 chords that we assembled, and then the repeat of the C at the top, is that they don't all have the same sonic quality. The first C chord here sounds quite different than, let's say, this B chord at the very end. It actually sounds a little bit dissonant, and we'll talk about why that is in a moment. So the quality of the C chord here is said to be major, and there are many reasons, there are many definitions of how a chord becomes major or minor. In our discussion, we'll talk about the fact that the lower third, from the root up to the third of the chord, comprises 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones and has room for 2 black notes in between it. And if we look for other spots in the C major scale that have that same quality, we'll actually find that they occur at the F chord. Right here, at the F chord, we have F and A, the lower notes, have this lower third is considered to be a major third. And again, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones, and it's a little bit of a wider third than what we'll see of the other ones. And then actually at the next chord, the G chord. G and B are also 1, 2, 3, 4. If I wanted to go, I had to count up 4 semitones to get from them. So what we'll say here in this case is we'll duplicate this major designation and put it under the scale degree 4 and under scale degree 5. And those are the major chords that occur within C major. And you may know from pop music that 1, 4, and 5 are really important chords. They actually help define the key of C major. And in the case of a major key, they're all the same quality. In contrast, we have this chord, a D chord. Right? It's a perfectly lovely chord, and it does sound like it's a part of C major. I can get home real quick. I can get to C from it, but it's a D chord by itself. And the quality is slightly different because D to F is a slightly narrower interval. The lower 2 notes between the root and third. It actually is only built of 1, 2, 3 semitones, slightly smaller, and this is said to have a minor quality. It's a minor interval, and this is called a minor triad. And similarly, it has only room, in the case of C major, for 1 black note in between these 2 pitches. If we move up to the next chord, E chord actually has the same quality of 1, 2, 3 semitones in its lower half between its root and third. And it is also of minor quality. And if we go up to the 6th scale degree, the A chord, similar. It's an A minor triad. It has 1, 2, 3 steps between its root and its third. So we can do the same thing here by duplicating the minor designation for scale degrees 2, 3, and 6, or the minor triads. The last chord in the set is this B chord, and it's quite special. The chord itself actually sounds less consonant, and if you wanted to count semitones, you actually find that in this case the bounding interval from B to F involves both T of the scale, T or scale degree 7, and F, which is scale degree 4. Those are the sensitive semitone parts of the scale. The B wants to go up to C, 7-1. The F wants to do a 4-3. And if you combine both this semitone area and this semitone area, the actual fifth from B to F is smaller than that. It's actually a diminished fifth is what that's called. And as such, we are going to use a special designation of the little circle means it's a diminished triad. Now, what's remarkable about this is that we have to start getting to a place in music where we trust our notation and we trust the musical systems. We've already learned to some extent to trust the clefs and the staffs, which is to say that if you look at something that is all lines that you can say, ah, I see it's a triad. I don't have to count it out. I have to find the letter names. I see triad. I see it's a triad. I see this as a triad. Well, the quality of the triads in a key are also set in stone. They're always the same. For C major, scale degree 1 will always support a major chord. Scale degree 2 will always be a minor chord. Minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. So importantly, that happens in any scale. So if I was in E flat major instead of C major, the same thing would happen. I don't have to count it out. I don't have to remember it. I know that the E flat chord is in fact a major triad because it's on scale degree 1. In major, I know that the last chord, the D chord, will actually have diminished quality. And what we'll do here in this case is use the information above of where major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished happens to fill out our understanding of what triads happen in E flat major, in the key of E flat major. We know that the tonic chord, or scale degree 1 chord, is a major E flat chord. The second chord will be an F minor chord. And I'll actually now start to communicate both the root identity with the letter and also the quality of the chord by saying that it's a lowercase f, that it's a minor chord. If we move on to the next chord, it's a G chord of some kind, and by our system we know that the third chord, scale degree 3, will support a minor triad. This is a lowercase G minor chord. The fourth chord, in E flat major, we've already learned that we are locked into these 3 accidentals. There are no such things as E naturals. There's no such things as A naturals in this world. All A's are flatted. So we are dealing with an A flat chord of some kind, and scale degree 4 supports a major triad. When we get to the 5th scale degree, we know we're going to also have, we're going to move on to the next note, which is a B flat. There it is right in the signature, and it will be of major quality. When we get to the next scale degree 6, we know we're going to be dealing with a minor chord, and the next note in the scale is C. It doesn't like my notation method, but we found a way into it to get the right number down. And the last triad in the E flat scale is going to be a D triad of some quality, and of course scale degree 7, very tense, has both scale degree 7 and will build scale degree 7, scale degree 2, scale degree 4, and will be of diminished quality. This is a D diminished quality. I'll try to get that superscript, but it didn't quite work. That's supposed to be a little circle. Maybe if I copy it and paste it above, that'll look better. Okay, so that's a D diminished. That's how we would indicate that. And the last chord, of course, is another E flat chord. So again, this knowledge of where major and minor chords happens will be very important as you start creating triads in a key.